Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's session. The focus tonight is on how to prepare learners for Cambridge exams. This is quite an interesting topic, and I'm sure many of you are here because you want to familiarize not only with the exam, but also with the methodologies we can implement in our classes for making students develop the different language skills. My name is Mr. Juan Valenzuela, and I'm glad to welcome you all tonight and share these teaching experiences together. Before we start, I want you I want you to type in the chat box where you are connecting from, the name of the place where you are connecting from. Where are you connecting from right now? Chiclayo, Lima, Piura, Amazonas, good. So good evening, Amazonas. Thank you, Edward, for attending. Glenys, you're connecting from Lima, good. Good evening, Lima. Francisca from Lima too. Chota in Cajamarca. All right, that's great. So we are Lambayeque, Chiclayo, Rioja, good. So we are present, we are all present here. The jungle, the mountain range, the coast. All right, San Martín, Nueva Cajamarca. All right, thank you and welcome again to tonight's webinar. Before we start, I want to tell you why I decided to run this webinar tonight. Why this webinar? You know, we are facing one of the most challenging experiences of our lifetimes right now. And this becomes a chance to make connections with our relatives, connections with our students, connections with our colleagues, as well as to grow up both personally and professionally. Despite the difficult circumstances because of the COVID-19, we are here. And I think this is a great chance to continue making connections because we all can learn from each other. And tonight I want to share all my experience, my expertise with you, as well as hear from you all the things that can help us improve our methodologies, our sessions. You know, we are teachers and we have a special vocation which demands constant training and learning. Since we work with humans, we don't work with machines, we work with people. We are teachers, we are many times psychologists, we are administrators, we are architects, we are doctors, we are parents, we are friends. We behave in many different ways in the classroom, and we have many different roles. We are educators, and we need to be well instructed to instruct others. So I hope we all have a fantastic experience tonight. I want to start right away by telling you what we will be talking about this evening. First, we are going to have an approach to the use of English Cambridge B2 First and C1 Advanced exams. The topic tonight is how to prepare learners for Cambridge exams, but the focus will be specifically on the use of English test. For Cambridge Preliminary, for Cambridge Key, this component is not included. For Cambridge Key and Cambridge Preliminary, there is a reading paper, a writing paper, listening and speaking papers, but the use of English paper is not included in Cambridge B1 or Cambridge A2. But for Cambridge B2 First and Cambridge C1 Advanced, we have the use of English component. And this is the first thing we will see tonight. Also, we are going to share some teaching strategies and materials for exam preparation. And finally, I'm going to speak to you about some professional development opportunities for teachers. All right, are you ready to start? Good. Okay. I told you that for Cambridge Key and Cambridge Preliminary, the use of English paper is not included. Many candidates are familiar with the language. They know the rules of the language. Even many teachers know the rules of the language. But this doesn't necessarily mean that we can play with the language, that we understand the language fully. So the use of English component is present to see how much candidates can use the language and can understand the language in real life situations. Can a candidate deal confidently with different types of text, such as fiction, newspapers, and magazines? So the use of English paper tests your use of English with tasks or activities that show how well you can control your grammar and your vocabulary. The Cambridge B2 FAIRS and Cambridge C1 Advanced exams use of English sections consist of parts 2, 3, and 4 of the reading and use of English paper. The reading and use of English paper for Cambridge FAIRS has 7 parts, and this test is 1 hour and 15 minutes long. It can be heavy, it can be tiring for many candidates, since many times we are not accustomed to read long texts. Cambridge C1 Advanced is 1 hour and 30 minutes. This is 15 minutes longer than Cambridge B2 because it has one more part. It has 8 parts. However, as you can see here, the use of English section consists of parts 2, 3, and 4 of these reading and use of English papers. Correct answers in parts 2 and 3 are worth 1 mark each. In part 4, answers which are partly correct receive 1 mark, and answers which are completely correct receive 2 points or 2 marks. In total, there are 28 possible marks in the use of English section. All right. I told you that candidates need to be familiar with grammar and vocabulary to show they can deal with the language confidently. This is what the use of English part is testing. So candidates need to be familiar with parts of a speech, for example, because these are the type of words they will need to complete the text, the exam task. For example, in reading and use of English part 2, candidates need to be familiar with this type of words. What are these words called? These words are called parts of a speech. Are you familiar with these words? The different parts or the different types of words are called parts of a speech or word classes. You might know some of these parts of a speech, but do you know them all? How many parts of a speech are there? There are 9 parts of a speech, actually. Nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, and adjectives. These are the first 5 parts of a speech we are going to revise right now. Can you help me match the examples, the words, with the different parts of a speech? All right. Which line is showing us here the nouns? Where are the nouns here? Can anybody help me? Four line, yes. Thank you, Cecilia. Table, Spanish, honesty, love, and Ika are examples of nouns. Where are the pronouns here? I, me, first line, yes. Us, you, she, and who. Where are the verbs? Thank you. The verbs, yes, the fifth line. The last line. Some examples of adverbs here are the words now, beautifully, always, and slowly. His, the best, dark, and happier are examples of adjectives. So candidates need to be familiar with these types of words because they will need to know when to use them, how to use them. Actually, you will have to complete text and it'll be easier to do that if you are familiar with the parts of speech. Here are 4 more parts of speech: prepositions, conjunctions, determiners, and interjections. Here are some examples of these words. The words on, by, at, and in are examples of prepositions. We have such, so, or, because, and on as examples of conjunctions, determiners, and interjections. All right, how can you help learners to know more about these parts of speech, these type of words they will need to be familiar with for the use of English component? Well, when I teach, when I prepare students, I usually use these resources I am sharing with you right now. YouTube videos, you know, help a lot. From the BBC Learning English, for example, there is a series of videos called 6-Minute Grammar. There are also vocabulary videos that tell learners more about the different parts of speech. The Cambridge Dictionary is another useful and interesting resource for making learners learn more vocabulary and understand grammar better. Also, as I said before, the BBC is investing a lot of money in resources for English teachers, and here at the BBC Learning English website, you can find grammar and vocabulary tasks for your students. I will share this presentation with you in PDF format tomorrow by email. I've got all your email addresses, so you will have access to these links. All right, let's start with some exam practice right away. So what is reading and use of English part 2 about? This is from Cambridge C1 Advanced. All right. So while we check this together, I want you to answer a poll. I want you to confirm that you can see the questions on the screen. Can you see the questions here? The title of today's poll, of today's survey is how to prepare learners for Cambridge exams. All right, I want you to read the questions and answer them. In some cases, you can answer more than one, or you can choose more than one option. All right? Question 1, for example, if you have taken more than one Cambridge exam, you can choose more than one option. All right? So I want you to read the questions carefully and answer this poll. All right. Good. So what is reading and use of English part 2 about? In reading and use of English part 2, there is a text with 8 gaps. You have to write one word only in each gap, never 2 words, never 2 or more words. It is always one word you need to use to complete each gap, each blank. Most of the words are grammar words, the type of words I showed you before: articles, auxiliary or modal verbs, pronouns, conjunctions, possessive adjectives, prepositions, and a few maybe meaning words such as nouns, verbs, or adjectives. This is why it is important to teach students this type of words, grammar words. Students need to be familiar with this. It's not about knowing the meaning of the words only, but also about knowing how to use the words, how to use these grammar words in context. Here is a sample task whose title is The Origin of Language. Can you see the text on the screen? This is a real exam task that I have taken from Cambridge C1 Advanced. I want you to confirm in the chat box that you can see my screen with The Origin of Language, Reading and Use of English, Task 2. All right, thanks for your answer. Thanks for confirming. All right, I told you before that to complete this part of the test, students need to be familiar with grammar words and also with some vocabulary words. Grammar words such as articles, modal verbs, and some vocabulary words such as adjectives, etc. In the real exam, you won't have any clues, but tonight I decided to include this box on top to help you think of the type of word you will need to complete the 8 gaps we have here. Well, number 0 is an example. So we will need 2 conjunctions, 2 prepositions, 1 adjective, a quantifier, and a modal, also a determiner to complete this text. Are you ready to complete it? The name of the text is The Origin of Language. The truth is, nobody really knows how language first began. Did we all start talking at around the same time? Any ideas? What type of word will we need to complete the first gap? A conjunction, a modal, a preposition, an adjective, a quantifier, a determiner? I want you to read carefully. I want you to read and tell me what type of word you think we might need to complete this text. Any ideas? Did we all start talking around the same time? It is a conjunction. I am giving you a clue right now. It is a conjunction. Can you type some examples of conjunctions in the chat box, please? Can you type some examples of conjunctions in the chat box so that we all figure out? And, excellent, Edward. And is an example of a conjunction. But, excellent, that's another example of a conjunction. So, excellent, Jet, thank you, Glennis. Any other examples of conjunctions? Can you please all help me? Can you please continue typing? Or, excellent, Pamela. Any other example? Conjunctions are also called connectors. I would say that for is in the group of prepositions. Conjunctions are also called connectors. Words like and, but, or. All right, thank you, Carlos. All right, okay, you are typing a lot, that's good. Because, excellent, Francisca. Actually, that's the answer. The answer to the first gap, number 9, is because. So the truth is, nobody really knows how language first began. Did we all start talking at around the same time because of the manner in which our brains had begun to develop? Although there is a lack of clear evidence, people have come up with various theories about the origins of language. One recent theory is that human beings have evolved that's another conjunction here, number 10. Here comes another conjunction. We use this when we want to give an example of something. Excellent, Edward. Actually, the answer is such. In such a way that we are programmed for language from the moment of birth. In words, here comes an adjective. Here's my clue. Number 11. Excellent. Thank you, Glennis. In other words, language came about as a result of an evolutionary change in our brains at some stage. Great. You are doing a great job. I'm showing you the answers right now. So we need to train learners, we need to train candidates to be able to not only recognize these words, as I said before, but also to be able to know how to use these type of words in context. If learners cannot make it the first time, the second time, the third time, we are there to help them think. Little by little, they will start to learn more words, more vocabulary, and also how to use them correctly in real situations. So this is what Reading and Use of English Part 2 is about. Thanks for your participation. You know, I like my workshops to be practical. I always try to make my workshops practical so that participants have a chance to experiment with the language, to know the methodologies in a way that they are significant and then can put them into practice in their own teaching. Now, here is a list of websites where you can find exercises that are appealing to this exam part. Exercises that will be good for your students to be fully trained, to be fully prepared for Reading and Use of English Part 2. Not only for Cambridge First, but also for Cambridge Advanced. At the ESL launch, you can find lots of activities that are similar in format and the same level, the same vocabulary and grammar your students will need for this part of the test. Also at the English Aula, there are samples your students can try for free, at the same with the exam English. All right, let's move on to the next part of the test right now, which is Reading and Use of English Part 3. What is Reading and Use of English Part 3? We are going to try a Cambridge B2 exercise right now together. I want you all to know that in Reading and Use of English Part 3, you read a text of 150 to 160 words with 8 gaps and 1 example. You write the correct form of the word given in capitals at the end of the line in each gap. In the text, there will be a mix of nouns, of adjectives, of adverbs, and verbs. We are going to complete a real exam task right now. Actually, the exam task we will complete tonight is an exam task I've created recently. That is this exam level, this exam grammar, this exam vocabulary. Here is a list of websites you can visit to learn more about word formation, which is, let's say, the heart of Reading and Use of English Part 3. You can find grammar and vocabulary videos at www.nv.com. There are also YouTube videos on word formation you can find for free. We have the live worksheets, which is one website we will explore together tonight, and the English practice, which is a website where you can find lots of materials for practicing reading and use of English with your learners. Okay, let's try some of these now. Here is the English practice, which is one website I like very much, since there are online exercises for your students, as well as worksheets you can download for free for improving your students' vocabulary. All right, I'm going to share a new screen right now so that we all can see this together. Okay, now I want you to please confirm that you can see my screen. Can you see my new screen? All right, thank you. So here's the English practice website. Here are worksheets. We have word formation, for example, here, which is, as I said before, the heart of the reading and use of English part 3. You click on the worksheet you want to download, and then you are redirected to another address or site. Then you have the worksheet that you can use with your students. On the first page, you have the task or exercise for the learners, and it includes the answers, the answer key for you, the teacher, the trainer. All right, that's quite a great resource, don't you think? So here's a list of worksheets, documents, topics you can download and use with your learners. Here is another example with sentences to show how much you can use the language. All right, can you see the screen? Can you see the worksheet? Here are sentences with words in brackets students will need to use. This is an exercise that is the same level and format as the real exam. All right, good. There are lots of websites on the internet. However, tonight I want to share one material that is my own. How can you prepare students for the reading and use of English part 3? For the reading and use of English part 3 task. Okay, you can create your own worksheets. You can create your own lessons. This year, we've had to find new ways of adapting our teaching, creating new materials, since we all are teaching online. Students haven't attended face-to-face classes. The schools are closed. And I know that you have been creating lots of new materials this year. Well, I am not the exception. I've been creating new materials this year too. You can create then your own lessons. This is a lesson I've created for teaching reading and use of English part 3. Reading and use of English part 3 is about word formation. And I want you to know that there are 4 main kinds of word formation: prefixes, suffixes, conversion, and compounds. However, right now we are going to focus on prefixes and suffixes only. What are prefixes? Well, here are some examples of prefixes. You know, we add prefixes before the base or stem of a word. This is at the beginning of a word, before the word begins, before the word starts. Some examples are the prefix mono, which means one, monolingual, monorail, right? Or the prefix multi, which means many. multi-purpose, multicultural. So by adding this group of letters to a word, we change the meaning of a word. Other examples of prefixes are pos and an. An adds a negative or an opposite meaning, gives a negative or an opposite meaning to words, like usual and usual, democratic and democratic. Yes, Edward, multitask is another example of a prefix, of the prefix multi, right? We have the word task, then we put multi in front of it, and we have multitask, right? And is not the only prefix we use to make opposites. There are others like im or this, right? And students should know this. Suffixes, on the other hand, are put at the end of words or after the base or stem of a word. The main purpose of a suffix is to show what class of word it is or it will be. For example, a noun, an adjective, an adverb, etc. Ism, for example, and dom are used to form nouns like terror, terrorism, sex, sexism. Er and or are used to form nouns to describe people who do things like employ, employer, act, actor. All right? Other examples are able and li. We usually add these two letters, ly, li, to make adverbs like natural, naturally, happy, happily, careful, carefully, etc. All right, are you all following me? Is this clear? Thank you. Good. Okay, here comes our first exercise. Here comes our first exercise. You have to match the words with the parts of a speech. You know, we need to teach these things to students. What part of a speech is beauty? What type of word is beauty? Is it an adverb, an adjective, or a noun? A noun, okay, you're telling me a noun. Beautiful? Good. Beautifully, then would be adverb, right? That's the only option. All right. Okay, now we have short. Okay, one more group. Short, shorten, and shortage. Short would be short adjective, all right, thank you. Shorten. This is to reduce or to make short. It is a verb, yes. Perhaps this is the first time you hear this, or you didn't know that short, the word short becomes a verb. Shortage would be a noun, all right? Good. The last group. Expected, expectation, expectantly. Expected is an example of a, what do you say? A verb? An adjective? Okay. Expectation? Expectation would be a verb? A noun, all right. Expectantly? All right. Now we are going to use the words to complete the sentences. Here we have adjectives, verbs, yes, and adverbs, yes. All right, we have to pack the parcel twice since the masking tape wasn't. What do you say? What's the missing word here? It's the opposite of weak, sometimes strong. All right, good, thank you. The competitor showed a lot of what would be the answer? Enthusiasm. Thank you, Glenis. Yes, throughout the race. And Guillermo is both. He's responsible and this is a characteristic of a person, a quality. Enthusiastic, yes. Enthusiastic, right. Okay, one of the reasons why they succeeded is because they work. This is the way you do something, the manner. And when we talk about manners or ways, we use, yes, adverbs, enthusiastically. Good. Every morning I ask God to give me the, this is something I need to overcome all obstacles in life. What would be the answer here? The strengthen or strength? Strength, actually, yes. Strengthen is a verb, it's an action. In number 6, for example, we see how we use the verb strengthen in context. A lot of stones, when you are building something, you use stones in order to strengthen the concrete. All right. Okay, good. Is this clear? Are you following me? Excellent. Okay, how good is your memory? I want to know how good your memory is. Do you have a good memory or do you forget things easily? Tell me in the chat box. Do you have a good memory? Yeah, all right, good. Very humble. Great. So. All right. You take notes. All right, Cecilia. Okay, good. You have 40 seconds to look at the chart and memorize as many words as you can. All right, 30 seconds now. $20. 10, 9, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, good. Time is up. Can you help me complete this chart now? Do you remember the words? Okay. I'm going to read your answers. Criticize. S. It can be with the letter S in British English and with the letter Z in American English. The same for memorize, organize. It can be S in British English and Z in American English. Okay, the same for memorize, organize, dramatize, and everything that finishes in eyes, including my dog Firo lies. All right, critical. The next word will be critical. Critical, good. Here. Continue, please. Continue typing. Hit, hot. Excellent, thank you. Okay, quickly. All right, quickly. I want you to be fast. You said you have a good memory. Darkness. Darken. Excellent. Dark. All right, good. Next. Who said me? Dramatize is the noun. The noun would be dramatize. The verb, all right. And what's the noun? What's the noun? Drama, good. All right, variety. What would be the verb? Very, adjective, various, excellent. All right, let's continue. Here, the noun, poverty, poverty, and the verb? Seems to be that nobody memorized the verb. Impoverish, good. Good, good, good. Thank you, Glenis. This is to become poor. Prevention. Let's continue quickly, please. Prevention. Prevent. All right, and what's the next? Don't remember? Preventive. All right, here. Now. All right. What did you say? Imagination, yes, imagination, imaginative. Excellent, Ceci. All right, good. Threat, threat. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. All right. Threaten, threaten, threatening. Okay, let's see. Threatening. All right, good. Then here we have in the last one, pay or payment, all right? Pay, payment. Okay, the verb pay. All right, good. You've done a very good job. All right. Okay, here's the exam task I told you I created these days. So this is one of my new inventions. And this is level B2. And it is a Peruvian topic that maybe we all are familiar with. Because the idea, generally speaking, for teaching successfully, we need to contextualize the language. We need to make it real for the students. So the topic I created here is familiar with the Peruvian students, the type of students we have with us. For questions 17 to 24, read the text below. So this is a real exam task. You have to use the word in capitals here on the right to form a word that fits in the gap in the same line. All right? Here is the text. I want you to confirm that you all can see the text whose title is Peruvian Cuisine. Can you see the text? All right. Number one, Peruvian foods. What's good? What would be the first word? Right now, you know more of this type of words, right? But as I said before, the idea is not to know the word only, but to know how to use it in context. So the first one is popularity. Yes. So Peruvian food's popularity has expanded beyond its frontiers. Nowadays, Peru is said to possess one of the world's best cuisines. In 2019, Peru was regarded, yes, as the best culinary destination by the Travel Awards, a prestigious European industry. This is quite a great, what did you say? Achievement, excellent, excellent. For Peruvians that became what? Became a A reality, yes, became a reality thanks to the contributions of the many different cooks, yes, cooks, who have made people from many different nationalities fall in love with their food. But great seasoning is not enough to gain a good reputation. Peruvians have had to include marketing strategies to be recognized nationally only. We are recognized here only inside our country or also abroad. Internationally, good. Internationally. Gaston Acurio is one of the most famous Peruvian ambassadors. He's taught unknown but talented people how to experiment with their foods in order to innovate and make their talent and business more profitable. Good. Now Peruvians feel that food is part of their identify, you sure? Identity, good. They also feel that they don't really need to be skillful to make a good ceviche or a good lomo saltado. Being enthusiastic, this is a characteristic. Being creative, good. And enthusiastic also counts when it comes to cooking. Would you believe me if I told you that Peruvians can make you feel you are in heaven when trying their food? All right, good. Now we are going to click on finish to see how well we have done. All right, so cross your fingers. Let's see our results. All right. Okay, can you see two options here? One that says check my answers and another that says email my answers to my teacher. Can you see the two options? All right, good. If you click on check my answers, you see your answers, but your teacher is not informed about your result. When you click on email my answers to my teacher, you write your teacher's email address, and the teacher gets a notification with your result. I will share with you the link to this website in which you can create your own worksheets. Okay, we are going to check answers, okay, and here is our result. So all our answers are right. We got 10 out of 10. So claps for everyone. You did a fantastic job. All right. Now I'm going to share with you this link in the chat box. Okay. Can you see the link in the chat box, dear participants? Can you see the link in the chat box? All right. So if you click on the link, you can access this worksheet online in real time, and you can complete the worksheet. So this is one website I am using right now. Can you see the link now in the chat box? Ceci Marui? No link? No? In the chat box? And now? Yes? Now? Can you see it in the chat box? Good. Okay, I want you to click on the link. You will be taken to my website, the website where I uploaded this worksheet, and you can complete the worksheet online. After you finish the worksheet, you click on email answers to my teacher, you write my email account, and I will get a notification with your result. If you don't want to inform your teacher about your result, you just click on check my answers and you will be informed of your result. Do you like it? Great, I like it too, I love it. All right. I will share with you tonight's presentation in PDF format tomorrow. And here or there, you will find all the links we are exploring tonight. So this is the worksheet we've just completed. And right now we are going to move on to reading and use of English part 4. So this is a practical way to share with you the different simple but cool things we can do with our students when preparing learners for Cambridge exams. Let's see reading and use of English part 4 right now. You are welcome, Pamela. My pleasure. This is reading and use of English part 4 from Cambridge B2 First and First for Schools. In reading and use of English part 4, you have to complete 6 sentences with between 2 and 5 words so that they mean the same as the sentences printed before them. You have to use a word given in capitals without changing that word in any way. Here is a sample task. Have you ever seen a task of this type? Have you seen an exercise of this type before? Have you seen a Cambridge exam? All right, good. I'm glad to read that you are familiar with this. Let's practice again then. Okay, I'm going to share the link in the chat box again with you, and you can complete it with me, you can follow me, or you can do it right now online with me at the same time. Okay, in reading and use of English part 4, Cambridge will test how much grammar you know, how much grammar rules you know. When we study English, when we study a language, we are taught grammar rules. Some teachers love teaching grammar rules. They don't care about speaking or listening, but they focus on grammar. Teaching grammar is good. I'm not against teaching grammar. I'm not against the teaching of grammar. But grammar is not the only aspect of the language we need to be worried about. We need to teach grammar, but there should be a balance of the different systems. This is grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, as well as a balance of the different skills. Because some teachers focus too much on grammar that they forget speaking or listening, or writing or reading, or pronunciation. In this part of the test, Cambridge will test how much grammar you know. So, if you know a lot of grammar, you are going to do it in this part of the exam. Can you see my new screen? I want you to confirm. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so right now we are going to study, we are going to revise, we are going to focus on the zero, the first, and the second conditional. This is the grammar I want you to know, I want you to understand, I want you to be familiar with right now. And then we will try one real exam task to show how much grammar you remember. Some candidates don't like this part because they find it too difficult. And when I prepare learners for Cambridge B2 or Cambridge Advanced, I always tell them to relax. Because if you start to remember all the grammar rules your teachers taught you, you are going to do well in this part of the test. Many people from our generation, from my generation, know a lot of grammar because when we were children, when we were English students, Our teachers focus a lot on grammar, and many of us know a lot of grammar. So if you know a lot of grammar, great, you are going to succeed here. Okay, so here is the link. I'm going to share the link with you in the chat box. You can click on the link and complete the worksheet right now with me at the same time, or if you want, you can follow me. You can pay attention and follow me. Okay, the zero conditional is used for facts, things that are generally true or that you believe to be true. You can use if or when, and the meaning doesn't change. Both parts of the sentence are in the present simple, in the zero conditional. For example, you get orange if you mix red and yellow. I get excited when I dance the carnival. Or, when I dance the carnival, I get excited. Here is a photo of the carnival. Do you like it? I love it. Okay, and here are some examples of the zero conditional. Remember that in the zero conditional, both parts of the sentence are in the present simple. Okay, number one. I want to see your answers in the chat box. What verb would be here? Number one. Okay, I order food when I don't. Excellent, order one, excellent, when I don't want to cook. Number two, you can call me again tomorrow if you need my help. Excellent. My dog cries when she is hungry. Good, hungry. I go to the doctor when I get sick. Excellent. So in both parts of the sentence, we use a present simple. And we can use if or we can use when. Not only if, but also when. Is this clear? Should I continue? Great. Okay, the first conditional. Okay. In the first conditional, we don't have the present simple in both parts of the sentence. In one part of the sentence, we have the present simple, or we see the present simple. And what do we see or do we have in the other part of the sentence? Does anybody know in the first conditional? Excellent, Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. Claps for you. The future will. The future will comes in the other part of the sentence. Number one, you won't pass your exams if you don't study. Thank you. Thank you, Zoila. Number two, I will. I will tell it. No, because after tell, you need an object, you need a person. I will tell who. It would be I will tell you, I will tell her, I will tell, but not I will tell it. I will do it, yes, if you want. Excellent. Thank you, Edward. Okay, number three, she won't know, all right? If you don't tell her. Good. If you want to live abroad, you will have to learn another language. All right, now let's use the words in this second box to complete the first conditional rules. Okay, as you can see in the examples above, in first conditional sentences, the if or when part of the sentence is in, the if part is in, the if part, like in number 4, in number 3, the if part is in present simple, good. And the result part is, will plus infinitive, good. The two parts can come in excellent, in any order. You won't pass your exams if you don't study, or if you don't study, you won't pass your exams. Okay, we click on finish. Right now I'm going to click on email my answers to my teacher. Here you enter your name. Let's say my name, JJB, group level B2, school subject English. I'm the teacher's email address. Okay, my email address, jvalenzuela@abilitiesandeducation.com. All right. Okay, here because of the space here is not recognizing, but that's the right answer, will plus infinitive. Okay, 10 out of 10. Excellent, claps for you again. And in my platform, in the teacher's platform, here in the notifications, I get my student result. Here is what we did. JJB, the student result. Do you like it? Yeah, me too. Okay, now let's revise the second conditional. Okay, I want you all to follow me. So we use the second conditional in English to talk about unreal, imaginary, or unlikely situations, like going on a dream holiday. Example, if I had a lot of money, I would travel all around the world. This is an imaginary situation, of course. It's only a dream, because in real life, I don't have a lot of money, no, so I can't afford a trip around the world. Wow. The second conditional is made up of two parts. The hypothetical or unlikely part begins with if and is in the past simple. Remember, it is here in yellow, if I had. So the hypothetical, imaginary, or unlikely part begins with if and is in the past simple. And the second part, the possible result of the imaginary situation, is made with would plus infinitive. It's here in green, would travel. So if I had a lot of money, I would travel all around the world. The two parts can be in any order. When the would part is first, you don't need a comma between the two parts. All right, so you say, I would travel all around the world if I had a lot of money. You cannot put two would's in a second conditional sentence. So it's not correct to say, if I would have, I would travel. But if I had a lot of money, I would travel all around the world. In the second conditional, we use word with all persons when the verb in the if clause is a form of be. Example, if I were single, not if I was single. Was is also acceptable, all right? Some people use was, but many grammarians still insist that we should use were instead of was. Okay, now let's match these sentences. If I had more free time, If I had more free time, I could learn a new language. All right. Thank you. Sonia would be a doctor. Sonia would be a doctor. If she were alive, yes. All right, good. Now, all right, let's continue. If she didn't live near here, if she didn't live near here, what would be the answer? Excellent. It would be difficult to see her. If I had money, I would buy that new smartphone. If politicians weren't so corrupt, people would believe in them, yes. If people recycled more, the world wouldn't be so polluted. What would you do if you were the president of your country? If you could fly, where would you go? Where would you like to study if you won a scholarship? If I live in Peru, I'd eat ceviche every day. Ten out of 10 again, great. All right. Are you ready for the exam task now? Good. Okay, the grammar we will see here has to do with zero, first, and second conditional. In the exam, there is not only one specific grammar that Cambridge will test, and there isn't a list of topics, of grammar topics that the student should know. It's all grammar topics in general. Sometimes in the sentences, they will have to show that they are familiar with grammar about countable and uncountable, or two and enough, or comparative adjectives, superlative adjectives. Sometimes it'll be the grammar of active and passive voice. But tonight, we are going to focus on zero, first, and second conditional. Okay, sentence one. We will not be able to finish the project without your help. Sorry, it's a typing mistake. Without your help. So the answer will be here first, second, or zero conditional. Unless we finish the project. Excellent. We will not be able to finish it? No. Unless we finish the project, we will not be able to finish it? No. Unless, all right, apart from that, you have to use the word assist, remember. Unless you assist me, excellent. Unless you assist me, it's me. In the sentence, it says we will, we. So you don't say assist me, excellent, Ceci Marui. You assist us, unless you assist us with the project. Excellent. What is the maximum number of words you can use here? Excellent, Ceci. Ceci Marui, great. What is the maximum number of words you can use here? 5, good. Good, Soila. So the answer is, unless you assist us with the project, we will not be able to finish it. Great. Number 2, you cannot use a swimming pool unless you become a member of the sports club. So in sentence 1, we use the first conditional. In sentence 2, we are going to use the zero conditional. I'm giving you a clue. It's a zero conditional. Present simple in both parts. You cannot use a swimming pool unless you become a member of the sports club. You can only use a swimming pool, excellent, if you join the sports club. Excellent. Number 3, Stella will not participate in the concert because she's feeling ill. Yeah, here we have the past simple in the first part. So what conditional is this? Excellent. It's second conditional. It's good plus infinitive, but it's not good go because you have to use the word part. Milagritos, we have to use the word part. Take part of. She would take part of. What is a synonym of to participate? Take part, yes, take part of or take part in. Very good, Glenis. Take part in. I'm glad to see how much we are learning together tonight. We are refreshing our knowledge of grammar tonight together. Number 4, it is a conditional, but also here Cambridge is testing your knowledge of vocabulary because we have the word put, so we will need a phrasal verb here. The main verb in the sentence, the first sentence is postpone. What's another way to say postpone with the phrasal put? Put what? Put. What is another way to say postpone? Put what? Put off. Excellent, Zoila. Excellent, Zoila. Put off. Put off means to postpone. Put on is like, has to do with to wear something. You put on your clothes. You put on a pajama to go to bed. You put on your uniform to go to work. To put off is to postpone. So unless the weather gets better, we will have to put off the match. All right. All right. We'll have to put off. Excellent, Ceci. Good. Did you like the activity? So you need to tell learners that for succeeding in this part of the test, they just need to relax and start to remember all the grammar rules they know, all the grammar rules you taught them in class. Okay, here are some websites in which you can find Cambridge official preparation materials. At the Cambridge English website, you find sample tests with real sample exams. There are lesson plans for online teaching and digital posters, resources for this COVID situation we are facing for the new English classroom. You know, our teaching has changed now. General English teaching resources, and at the Practice Makes Perfect, you can find very, very useful lesson plans also with specific exam parts and be able to prepare your students successfully. All right. Here are some basic things to keep in mind. We are about to finish, and I want you to keep this in mind. Number 1, you can expect to be prepared in a couple of weeks. If you are planning to take a Cambridge exam, you cannot expect to be prepared in a couple of weeks or in a month. You need time to prepare. The minimum number of hours you need to be fully prepared for a certain level is 80 hours, 80 chronological hours, 80 hours of 60 minutes. So if you're planning to take an exam, you need time to prepare. And if you are planning to prepare someone for an exam, you can not expect your students to be prepared in a couple of months. 80 hours is a minimum number of hours you need to be prepared. Also, I want you to keep in mind that it is important to consolidate grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, as well as familiarize candidates with the exam's components and formats. The same way we did it tonight. Your students, in case you are preparing learners for the exams right now, expect you to be knowledgeable about the exam. They like it when they feel that you know about the exam. So if you are planning to prepare someone, you have to investigate, you have to explore, you have to find out, you have to study, you have to prepare a lot, because learners want their teachers to know about the exams. And learners ask you a lot of questions, because when they register for an exam preparation course, they feel like you are the expert, so you need to be ready. Also, you need to convey confidence from the very beginning. Students like it when the teachers give them confidence or convey confidence. When you transmit tranquility, when they see that you know about the exam and you tell them to relax and you are friendly and you are a guide and you help and you assist, they feel comfortable with the course, with the preparation course. You need to be able, or you should be able to adapt. To adapt what? To adapt resources, to adapt materials, to adapt methodologies, to adapt times, to adapt all the things that might need to be adapted. And if you are planning to prepare someone, you have to be updated. There are always new things. There are always new resources. In YouTube, for example, there is a Cambridge YouTube channel, the Cambridge English channel, with webinars. Every week, Cambridge is uploading new webinars. You need to be updated. This year, for example, Cambridge CAT and PET, Cambridge Key and Preliminary have changed. There are new things in the exam. And if you're planning to prepare someone for the exam, you have to be updated. Also, I want you to keep in mind that the preparation course is not the same as a class of English. It's a totally different thing. The way we did it tonight. I wanted this workshop, this webinar to be practical, but this was not a class of English. We were sharing, we were learning from each other. We were all getting involved in the session. So these are some of the basic things I want you to keep in mind. And right now, I want to share with you some professional development opportunities. You know that here at Abilities and Education, we are offering preparation courses for both teachers and learners. And our preparation courses focus on the necessities of teachers and learners in the classroom. They are a platform for professional development, and they are a response to the local need for language learning and English language teaching methodology. Here is a list of our current and upcoming courses. If you want to prepare with me with Abilities and Education for a Cambridge exam, we are starting a couple of groups tomorrow. If you want to take a Cambridge exam, you feel you are ready, for example, for Cambridge B1 preliminary, we are starting a course tonight. It'll be a 6-month course, Fridays 8:30 to 10 p.m. and Saturdays 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also have a Cambridge B2 course. I am the trainer, I am the teacher. It is Wednesdays and Fridays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. It starts next Wednesday, and it is a 6 months course also that goes from November to April 2021. I am also preparing people for Cambridge Advance. This group started 3 weeks ago, to be honest, but if you want to be part of this course, of this group, you can still enroll, you can still register for my course. I work with a maximum of 6 students per group. I don't work with a lot of students. Each group is formed by a maximum of 6 students. That gives all the participants the chance to interact and to learn successfully. I am starting at, well, 2 TK2 groups. There is a group that will be that will start on Saturday, November the 14th. It will be a Saturday's group for Cambridge TKT modules 1, 2, and 3, in case you want to take this methodology exam or you want to prepare for this exam. And there is another group that will start next week on the 10th of November. It will be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10:30 to 12:30 in the morning. For further information, you can contact me. Here are some online courses. We have these courses inside the platform. These are methodology courses. We have Prepare for Cambridge TKT-YL for teachers of primary, for teachers of children. And also we have the TKT Module 3 online course. And we also have the How to Prepare Children for Starters, Movers, and Flyers. If you want to learn how to prepare children for these Cambridge exams, you can take this course. Or if you are preparing or planning to prepare students for Cambridge CAT, PET, FC, and CAE, you can enroll in my course, How to Prepare Learners for Main Suite Exams. For further information, you can contact me. Here is my phone number, my email account. All right. That would be all for tonight then. Thank you very much for attending tonight's webinar. Thanks for being here, for sharing these teaching experiences together. That's all with me. Good night. Can you please turn on your cameras for taking a photo before we say goodbye? Ceci, my friend.
Hi.
Hi, hi.
Thanks for the webinar. Thanks.
You're welcome. Please turn on your cameras. Ronald, hi. Milagritos.
Hi, Mr.